A lot of times the enemy convinces us that we are still in our chains when it's our decision to take the chains off. The lock is gone, but we're wrapping the chains around ourselves and basically putting ourselves back in bondage. I used to be stuck in this cycle of constantly feeling trapped, constantly going back to lust, constantly going back to many different things. And once I found this thing out, it changed my life. You see, a lot of times in our walks with Christ, we feel as though we're not set free from our sins, even though maybe we've been walking with God for a long time, even though we've repented, even though we've done so many different things. We fasted, we prayed, but we still feel that subconscious thought in our mind telling us we are going to go back to this sin. Let me tell you why you keep going back to lust, why you keep going back to alcohol, why you keep going back to weed. Because you don't believe you're free. Because you still think you are in bondage when Jesus has set you free. You see, the problem is this, okay? You've been defining yourself as your sin. You've been telling yourself, this is just who I am. This is what I do. Just think about it for a second. Like, ask yourself, what do I really believe about myself concerning this sin? Because sometimes I know in my own life, I used to think of myself, I'll never be free from lust. I'll never change. I'll never be free from these things. And I never said it openly, but in my mind, my subconscious mind, I believed it. And that's what kept me going back to that sin. That's what kept me going back to lust. So you must realize this, okay? John 8 verses 36. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. So Jesus has set you free. But why do you keep going back? Because you're putting the chains back on yourself. Take this illustration for a second. Imagine you're in a prison, all right? And imagine there's a jail. There's a jail guard. And they open the door for you. They say that you can come out. You leave the prison, right? Maybe you're out of there for like 2 weeks. I kid you not, guys. Literally every single time I try to make a video, it's like there's somebody outside doing something random. There's a siren beeping. There's a woman screaming. It's crazy. But anyways, you're out. You're free from prison, right? But because it's not comfortable, because it's not familiar, you go right back to the prison. The door's still open. The jail cell is still open. But you're sitting in the cell like, God, save me. When the door is open, you can leave if you want to. Think about it for a second. A lot of times the enemy convinces us that we are still in our chains when it's our decision to take the chains off. The lock is gone, but we're wrapping the chains around ourselves and basically putting ourselves back in bondage. So in order to be set free from that sin, you must understand that you are already free. But you must also not allow yourself, like it says, in Galatians 5 verses 1, dude, it's right on my wall. I read it every single day. Not every day, obviously, but you know, from time to time. Do not let yourselves be burdened again by the yoke of slavery. We're letting ourselves come back to these things, and it's burdening us, and it is enslaving us. So you are not a slave to your sin. If Jesus has set you free, if you've repented, and if you turn away towards the life towards Christ, you are not in bondage. So I want this video to throw that lie out of your mind and make you understand that you are not your sin. So the first step towards making progress in breaking this lie, because it's not going to be a one and done process, it's going to take time. You must define the version of you want to be. Who would the person that is free from lust be? What would they do on a daily basis? How would they act towards people? How would they view women? How would they view men? Right? Who would that person be? I want you to write this down. Seriously, write down exactly what this person would do, because you need to have a mental image of who you want to become, unless you're going to continue to live like the old version of yourself, right? That's why we stay so stuck in these cycles of lust, because we are literally acting like the lower version of ourselves. So if the enemy tries to get you to think that you are still living in sin, or that sin is still a part of you, you must realize it's a lie. All right, but with that said, I hope you guys found this video valuable, and if you did, like, subscribe, and share this with 3 friends, because a lot of people need to hear this message. All right, so if you're in a season right now where you're struggling with lust, you're struggling with sins, and you're trying to break free, and you need that push, I want you to join the Knights for Christ, because it's going to help you break free. It's going to give you a network of Christian men that will help you stay accountable. All right, it's the first link in the description. Check it out. But with that said, in a world full of problems, choose peace and be the Knight for Christ I know you can be.